Hi there, my name is Heather Hartwig. I'm an early literacy coach at the Lenawee Intermediate School District, and I'm here today to give you a quick tip from the K-3 Instructional Essential Practices in Early Literacy. And today we're going to take a look at Essential 5, Bullet 5, and talk about some ways that we can coach our students when they are stuck on a word. I'm sure that if you work with students, you have encountered this many times. And you may have wondered, like me, what are the best research informed ways to prompt students? And so we're going to talk about that today. But before we get started in the prompts, let's go ahead and take a look at Essential 5. Essential 5 focuses on explicit instruction and letter sound relationships. And if you look down to the bottom next to that purple arrow on Bullet 5, you'll see that that is reinforced through coaching children during reading by cueing children to monitor for meaning and to attend to the letters and words, making sure that they're recognizing those letter sound relationships that have already been taught. And we know that if we have a student who hasn't been explicitly taught certain letter sound relationships and a word comes up that has those in there, we can't expect them to be able to decode that. So knowing our students and knowing why they're making the errors will really help to inform us which prompt would be most beneficial to use. So here you can see on the right a resource that was given to us by two different researchers, Dr. Nell from the University of Michigan and Dr. Christine Schutz from the University of Illinois in Chicago. And what they suggest is that before choosing which prompt to use from this list of prompts and pictures, first we want to consider three things. We want to consider the child's development, because some of these prompts might be more appropriate for younger students or older students. So depending on their development would help you to decide which prompt to use. Thinking about their reading profile, thinking about why the student is making the error. Are they making the error because they are not attending to those letter sound relationships? Then you definitely want to prompt them for word identification. If they're making an error and just kind of saying words that don't make any sense, then we might want to prompt them for meaning. And so depending on the reason that that student is making the error should help us to decide which prompt to use. And then the third is text and situation. We know that sometimes no matter what prompt we give a student, it is highly unlikely that they are going to be able to figure out that word. They might just not have those skills yet. And so in that case, we may just have to tell them what the word is and move along. And so if you'd like this full resource and the narrative attached, go ahead and scan that QR code on the screen and it will bring you right to that resource. So here on this page, you'll see another resource, and this is actually snippets taken from a bookmark that you can get if you scan that QR code. It will take you to the full bookmark. You can see here that this is just helping us to think through which prompt to use. If they are making errors based on word identification issues, and this is generally where you want to start. You may prompt them to look at the word, to slide through each sound, to break that word into parts. If they need prompts for vocabulary or meaning, then you're going to ask them those prompts in the green. Or perhaps they're having problems with comprehension monitoring. It's like they're kind of reading it right, but you know that they do not understand what that word means. Perhaps you ask them these questions here. Does that make sense? Does it sound right? Try rereading that again. And so there are lots of different reasons why we might use these different prompts. But generally, one of the last prompts we might give on that prompt that you saw in the last slide is to check the picture. And sometimes I've heard of educators doing that first, but we don't want them to guess. That would be like the last resort. We want to prompt them to look at those letters and the sounds. So contact me for more information or go to the K-3 Literacy Essentials.